Hi guys, welcome back to Garage Gossip. My name is Maya, and today I am obviously, as always, your host. This intro always sucks. I don't know what to tell y'all in the intro, okay? I don't know how to do a good intro. But anyway, I'm sweating my ass off. I'm not bald. I have my hair in plotted, guys. I'm not bald. It's just, I'm sweating my ass off. It's already incredibly hot, and it's only 9:15 in the morning. And we're not at the hottest point of the day. It's gonna be 32 degrees today in Belgium, which is kind of insane. Yeah. Anyway, today we're gonna be talking about Austria. Obviously, we're gonna talk a little bit about Silverstone because that is my second favorite Grand Prix of the whole season. So obviously, we have to chat about it as much as we can. And we're also gonna chat a little bit about the F1 movie. I've went to watch it this past week. So if you don't want any spoilers on the movie, which I get it if you don't, you might not want to listen to that part of the episode because I'm not good at giving reviews without spoilers. It's not one of my strong suits, so if you don't want spoilers, probably not listen to that part. But all the other parts are going to be totally spoiler free, if you can call it that. Unless you haven't watched the race of yesterday or the qualifying session, then obviously it's not going to be spoiler free because we're going to digest everything that happened in the qualifying session and in the race. That's the whole point of this podcast. Okay, enough of an intro. Let's go. Let's start with the episode. Alright, so first things first, Austria. Free practice, gotta be honest, I did not watch a single one, but we have to give a shout out to Alex Dunne. Because how that man got in 4th place in his first FP1 session is insane to me. That's absolutely insane to me. That shows, once again, what a good driver Alex Dunne is. And I swear, he is gonna be on the F1 grid pretty soon, I think, because he's such a great driver. It's insane. It's honestly insane. First FP1 session, because I was expecting, because Dino, I don't know where Dino finished, but he didn't finish that high. Dino finished pretty low, I think. And let me check. Dino finished in 18th in a Ferrari. Obviously, it has to do a little bit with the car, because Dunne got to drive in Lando's car, and we've seen throughout the whole weekend that Lando's car was pretty much the dominant car on the grid. But still, the fact that Dino Beganovic finished P18 in a Ferrari while Lewis Hamilton finished P9 in technically the same Ferrari, yeah, that's insane. Piastri in 3, Dunne in 4, it's insane to me how Dunne did that. Genuinely, like, that's absolutely insane. And I didn't get to watch any of the F2 races this weekend. I've watched a little bit, and we're gonna talk about that later. But I don't know how he did this weekend in F2. I think he did pretty well, but then he got a penalty or he got disqualified. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know. We know that Ollie Bevan said it last year. I think a lot of drivers have said it this year as well. It is very difficult to go from an F2 car to an F1 car back to an F2 car. You get what I mean? So they do an F2 free practice, then they go to F1 free practice, and then they go back to F2 qualifying. And for a lot of drivers, it is very difficult to switch from car to car. You know what I mean? So the fact that Dunne got P4 in an F1 car, and then I think had a pretty decent qualifying, like he still was in the top 10. Yeah, that's actually insane. That's actually insane. So yeah, just had to give a quick shout out to Alex Dunne for that. Then immediately moving on to quali, because like I said, did not watch any of the free practices. Quali. I hate to do this, but I think it's time we rediscuss the second RBR Seekers, because Yuki. what the hell? I mean, Max was also saying the car was undrivable, but he was still in Q3. The fact that Yuki got eliminated in Q1 is concerning. The fact that Liam Lawson got his racing balls in in Q3 is also insane. Yuki got P18. Okay, the times were pretty fucking close together. Except for Lando and Oscar. Those are the only two drivers that have a 104. The others all have a 105. But still, the fact that Yuki got eliminated in Q1 is actually concerning. And the fact also that he had to disable his Instagram comments because he was just getting so much hate in his comments for the fact that he wasn't performing how everyone expected him to perform is absolutely insane to me. And I've said it before on this whole podcast, we don't need to disrespect the drivers. I don't think it's easy being in that second Red Bull seat. We've seen a lot of drivers in there already. I don't think it's easy at all to be in that seat. So yeah, I mean, it's Yuki's not performing how we expect him to perform. It's the second Red Bull seat. Red Bull is still third or fourth in the championship. So Max is still fourth in the championship as well. So we do need to look at what is wrong with Yuki's car or what is just not working for Yuki and how can we, well, not we, how can the Red Bull, how can the Red Bull team just handle that and just make it work for Yuki, if you get what I mean. Because I do feel bad every time I see Yuki go out in Q1, I'm just like, Yuki, what the hell happened? Because like FP3, he was in front of Max, I think. I'm not so sure anymore, but I think he finished in front of Max. So I was expecting a lot from Yuki. Oh no, he didn't. At one point while I was watching, he was in front of Max, and I was like, okay, Yuki, you're doing great. I think he was in third and Max was in fourth. Yuki finished FP3 in ninth and Max in third. So yeah, I mean, ninth is still better than 18th. It's just Red Bull need to have a look at that because yeah. And then I think also for Yuki, it's not easy to see Liam Lawson, who was originally in that seat, outperform him and even outperform Max. Like I don't think that I don't think that was easy for Yuki. Yeah. And I've mentioned Liam a lot of times now. We do need to give him a quick shout out. And we also need to give a quick shout out to Gabby. Because those two, I don't know where that base came from, but that quality, insane. Insane. Both in Q3. Yeah, that was, I mean, how Gabby got in there, I'm still confused. Where has his pace come from? Honestly, where has it come from? Because I think the highest that he's been is in Q2, and then it wasn't like pretty high. I don't really remember what his highest qualifying position is, but it's not higher than 12th, I think. I think like 14th, 13th might be his highest up until this weekend. Might have been his highest qualifying position. So the fact that he qualified 8th is insane to me. I was really hoping he would out-qualify Max Verstappen, but he didn't, unfortunately. But still, he out-qualified Kimi Antonelli. Yeah, if we do not count Liam Lawson as a rookie, Gabi Bortoleto was the highest placing rookie on the qualifying grid this weekend. Like, in a kick Sauber. In a kick Sauber, guys. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Yeah. Gabi and also Liam. I mean, at this point, I think we all expect Isaac Hatchard to be in Q3, but he got eliminated in Q2. He only placed 13th. So Liam Lawson took his spot. And I was like, oh. And then Liam out-qualified Max Verstappen, and I was like, oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think he also, I don't know where Liam finished the race, but he had a great weekend. He did get points. I do remember that. He did get points. He finished in sixth, guys. Sixth place. That's insane. That's actually so good. Wow. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Damn. Damn. Yeah, it's actually insane. This Grand Prix, like the 20-ish first laps, super interesting. I was at the edge of my seat. As a McLaren fan, I was on the edge of my seat the whole 20-ish first laps. And then it slacked a little bit, the Grand Prix, and then the last 20-ish laps again, it picked up so much. It picked up so much. I was stressed. I was freaking stressed because I wanted Lando to win the Grand Prix. Because everything was going his way, and I was like, okay, come on, Lando, just bring it home right now. Just bring it home, you know? You know what to do. You can do it. And then we had Oscar. And then we had the traffic. Fernando Alonso, I don't know what that man was doing, but like, he tried to. I think he kind of like tried to overtake Lando again while he wasn't supposed to, because obviously Lando just lapped him. But I think Fernando wanted to put Lando between him and Gabi, because Gabi was trying to overtake Fernando for another position. Yeah, I think it was that at that point I was pretty confused what Fernando was doing. But I was also invested in that battle because I wanted Gabi to get another position up. He didn't, unfortunately, but he still finished P8, which is honestly so great. First points for Gabi, I think 4 points. Yeah, 4 points. That's absolutely amazing. Let me tell you, the only driver on the grid right now without points, Franco Colapinto. And you're gonna say, yeah, well, he hasn't had the same amount of races. True, Jack Doohan also didn't score points. So technically, if you combine the two, 0 points still. I mean, we're gonna talk about Franco later, because I need to talk about that man. Also, quick shout out, Nico Hülkenberg gained 11 positions, went from P20 to P9, double points for Kicksauer, which that made me really happy. And then we saw the cute little moment between Fernando Alonso and Gabi. I don't know if you'll also saw it on the Sky Sports stream. I don't know if they show the same thing on the Sky Sports stream as on the F1 TV stream. Because I think on the F1 TV and the F1 TV Kids stream they show the same things but just with different visuals. Because every time there is a F1 TV Kids stream, I will watch that. I will be the person that watches the F1 Kids stream because I love it. It's so cute. I love it. It's so cute. I don't know why not. I don't actually know how many people watch it, but it's just so cute. The little driver, like, they're like emojis kind of. So cute. Yeah, we had a cute little moment between Fernando Alonso and Gabriel Bortoleto, and that melted my heart. That melted my heart. Manager and managee. I don't know if that's a word. But yeah, that was very cute. I do feel bad for Williams. Yeah. I mean, so Carlos didn't get off the line on the formation lap, right? Then he came into the pits, which on the F1 Kids stream, they did not explain why, but obviously I knew why, but they didn't explain it, just putting it out there. If they see this, maybe next time you should explain it. And then his brakes got on fire, and at that point I knew he was not racing. The F1 Kids stream, they didn't know. They did not know. They were like, oh, it looks way worse than it actually is, like he will race, he is fine. And I was like, guys, we can all see that it's not racing. There's about 20 mechanics around his car. He is not racing today. Yeah, that was a funny thing in the F1 Kids stream, I think. And then Alex Albon retired with a mechanical issue, and I was like, it's not their day. It's not their day, but it's okay. It's not like they're gonna want to perform way better next weekend because that's their home Grand Prix. So hopefully fingers crossed nothing happens with them in Silverstone, because I want them to have a great home Grand Prix. Yeah, and then obviously the crash between Kimi and Max. I gotta be honest, I was kind of happy to see Kimi crash into Max. A little bit. Is that selfish? Maybe. Yes. But it's okay, I think. I mean, it's just the more points Lando and Oscar can score, with Max not scoring any points, the bigger that gap gets between them for Lando or Oscar to win the championship. And that is exactly what I want. My mic just stopped functioning, so I'm back now. I have to do the whole rest of the episode without the mic now, so yeah. I hope you still are able to hear me. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much sucks. I don't know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the Kimi and Max crash. Yeah, I mean, I knew from seeing that crash that it was Kimi's fault. Like, at first I was like, oh, it's just a lockup. It's not his fault. But then they showed the replay of his onboard, and I was like, that's definitely Kimi's fault. He got a penalty for it, which I knew would happen. At first I was like, maybe just penalty points, which I think he probably also got penalty points, but I don't know that for sure. He did get a 3-place grid penalty for next race, so that is Silverstone. So he will get 3 places off his qualifying position for the starting grid. Yeah, which I think is a fair decision. I mean, he ruined his own race, and he also ruined Max's race. And I think Red Bull are not that happy. Kimi went to the Red Bull hospitality to apologize to the whole Red Bull team, which I think is very sweet that he did that. It's such a Kimi thing as well to do that. It's like, I don't think it's nice driving into a 4-time world champion at the home Grand Prix of the team with a lot of Max Verstappen fans there to watch him race, and then Max doesn't even make it a whole lap around. Well, technically he did, because we had 2 formation laps. But yeah, I don't think that was that one. Yeah, I think that as a rookie, that kind of sucks. But I see that it was Kimi's fault, and like, the 3 places grid penalty, that is a fair decision in my opinion. So yeah, okay. And then Colapinto. We do need to talk about that man. Yeah. So normally Austria was his last Grand Prix of his 5 races contract. Alpine have communicated that they will lengthen Franco Colapinto's. They will extend Franco Colapinto's contract, but it's gonna be a race by race contract, which I think is pretty special. I think for Colapinto it might not be a good case, because like I said, currently he is still the only driver on the grid without points. And I think if he doesn't score points very quickly, Alpine is 10th in the championship as well, in the team championship they're 10th. They're not gonna want to finish 10th. So I feel like if Franco doesn't score points very quickly, he might be out of the seat. Because I don't trust Flavio Briatore. I don't trust the man. You can say about him what you want, but I don't trust him. I'm not a big fan of that man, I don't trust him, so I really think Franco needs to score points, or he will be out of the seat, maybe during the summer break. I feel like if Franco doesn't score points before the summer break, there will be someone else in that seat after the summer break. Who? I don't know, because Paul Aaron is a big unknown in my opinion, because he hasn't raced this whole year. he's just been with Alpine, and he hasn't been racing in any other series than with going with Alpine to all the F1 Grand Prix, if you get what I mean. So that is a bit unknown. They also have a lot of reserve drivers. Let me check who else they have. I think they do have Wait, now I'm confusing things, I think. Let me take a look. Yeah, they do have Kushmani as well. So they do have Kushmani as well as a reserve driver, which Kush, I think, has been driving in F2 his whole season, this whole past season already, which I think he has been doing pretty okay, but I don't know, so I'm checking it on the website of F2. Miney. So he currently sits in P12 of the 22. It's decent. It's not amazing, but it's decent. Definitely when his teammate sits in P3. He did win a race, I think. Didn't he win a race in Monaco? I think he did. Yeah, he won the sprint race in Monaco, I think. Yeah, he did. See? I remember that. So, Kushmani is also an unknown, and I don't know if Alpine gets the decision between Paul Aron, who hasn't been racing in any other series this whole past half year, or Kushmani, who is currently still racing in F2. I think they might go for Paul Aron, because if they pick Kushmani, his whole F2 season is fucked. And I don't know if he's gonna want that, if you get what I mean. Or they might still go back to Jack Doohan, because Jack Doohan is also still one of the reserve drivers at Alpine. Which I honestly would prefer that, because I don't think Alpine gave Jack enough time to prove himself and to show that he can do it. I still feel like he can score points in F1, and I feel like he deserves a chance to showcase his talent, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit unknown, but yeah, I do think if Franco Colapinto doesn't score any points before the summer break, he might be out of the seat. And then, ladies and gentlemen, before we go over to the F1 movie talk, let me go over a bit of the feeder series stuff. So, like I said, I did not watch any session of F2 this weekend. Well, I did. I was in the car when the sprint race was on, and I was like, oh, let me have a look how everyone's doing. I pressed play, and it was a red flag, and everybody was in the pits and out of their cars, and I was like, what the fuck happened? So I had to rewind it all the way back. That crash, it was a lot like Cars. I don't know if you remember, get the reference that I'm making, but it was a lot like this one part of the Cars movie where the car's like rolling on top and he's just like staying on top. That it looked like that, but Sammy McDonough is fine. I think it was the car of Luke Browning as well. They're both fine. They're all fine. All of the 3 drivers that were involved in the crash, they're all fine. So yeah, that's a good sign. I a lot of crashes happened in F2, I think, this weekend, because at the end of the sprint race, also another crash happened. And that is why the F1 qualifying session had to be delayed by like 15 minutes. But yeah, and then obviously a little bit about Silverstone for them. They're also racing there, obviously, and we have another rookie doing an FP1 session, which you guys know I love my rookie running sessions. We have Arvid Lindblad doing his first rookie running session in, I think, the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, but it might be the Red Bull of Yuki. But I think it's going to be the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. But that's exciting. It's his home Grand Prix for Arvid, so I think it's going to be fun for him to be driving in an F1 car at his home race. So yeah, that. And then now we move over to my F1 movie talk. Okay, So, my talk about F1 the movie. I went and watched it the second day after it was released. So it was released, and then the day after I went. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this movie in movie theaters, because I don't know what to expect from it, to be honest. I went in with zero expectations, because I had seen a lot of the drivers at the worldwide premiere say that if you are an F1 fanatic, you might not love the movie. So I went in with zero expectations. Also because a lot of people online were saying like, I'm 50-50 on it, it's not a great movie, it's not very accurate. So I was just like, okay, zero expectations. I'm just excited to see the driver cameos, to be honest. And Roscoe. I loved Roscoe in it. I love that Lewis specifically put Roscoe in it. And also, Roscoe is in the credits. Love that. Love that little detail. So yeah, zero expectations. At the end, I'm pretty pleasantly surprised. It is actually a pretty good movie. Is it accurate? No, it's not. I mean, it kind of is, but there's a lot of things in the movie that if you know Formula 1 and you usually just watch the F1 races, you're gonna pick up and say that's not how it happens in real life. If I can give an example, the last Grand Prix of the whole season, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, right? It's in the movie. That's also the last Grand Prix of the whole movie. They have a red flag 3 laps from the end. All the drivers come back to the pits and they're gonna restart the Grand Prix for 3 laps. In my knowledge, that would not happen in real life. I don't think the FIA would restart the Grand Prix with like red flag the session and then restart it for only 3 laps. I think they would just do 3 laps behind the safety car to then finish the Grand Prix. You get what I mean? Like, I don't think it would be red flag and restart. So that's a bit not really accurate. I also think it's funny that you can see that the movie is filmed over 2 seasons, because at one point in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, before it starts, we have a shot of, I think, Sonny Hayes' car, and in the background you can see the Williams car with the number 43 on it, which is Frank Colapinto's number. So that is a shot from last year. But at another point in the same Grand Prix, we're talking about an Alpha Tauri, which is not the same year. That was 2023, because Alpha Tauri was on the grid the last year in 2023, because last year in 2024 it was VCAR. So I think at one point we have, like, in the championship you can see that they're talking about Alpha Tauri and about Alfa Romeo, and then at one point we see a Racing Bulls, at one point we see an Alpha Tauri, at one point we see the Alfa Romeo car, but we see the Kick Sauber pit crew. And I just think that is so funny that you can literally see that it's filmed over 2 seasons. Also because obviously Günther Steiner is in the movie. He had to be, I think. And he hasn't been on the grid last season. 2023 was his last year on the F1 grid. So I think that is a funny little detail to just like look at the things that don't make sense because it's different cars. What else? The soundtrack of the movie hits. It's so great. And like, personally, because I've listened back on the soundtrack at home, it hits harder when you're watching the movie, I think. Like, there's some songs on it that I'm just like, those are the shit. Like, I listen to them a lot at home. But then there's other songs that in the movie I really liked, but at home listening to it don't hit quite well. But yeah, still great freaking soundtrack. The whole love situation, it's not great that it's in the movie, and I hate the fact that it's in the movie, but it's less prominent and less dominant than I expected it to be. Like, if you've watched the trailer, you probably have seen the fact that Sonny Hayes has a one-night stand with his female head of engineer. Yeah, that's not great. As a female in motorsport, I hate the fact that it's in a movie. And I hate the fact, like, I don't get how Lewis Hamilton signed off on that idea. Because Lewis is one of the producers on the film. I think maybe the biggest producer on the film. I don't actually know. But I hate the fact that he signed off on that. Because that's not what Lewis stands for. And I know that. So, yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in Lewis there. I'm a bit disappointed in the movie there, but obviously it had to be in there. I mean, it's still a Hollywood film, so something like that had to happen in the movie in order to make it fun for the audience to watch, if you get what I mean. But it is a great movie. I think, like, if I had to rate it like I rate my books, I think I would give it a 3.5. Like, I liked it, but it wasn't... and I loved it. You get what I mean. So, yeah, I think that's it. I will see y'all not next week. I don't know when I'll be back, actually. It's gonna take a while, actually, because I'm on family holiday for 2 weeks. So, I will be back the week before the Spa Grand Prix, normally. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. And, yeah. That's it. You on YouTube, like I said, will hear me, see me. My brain is just melted from the heat. You on YouTube, you will see me in about 2-3 weeks-ish. You on Spotify or on whatever platform you're listening to will also hear me in 2-3-ish weeks.